In our last D&D Curse of Strahd game, Strahd von Zarovich was at home in his castle Ravenloft, enjoying a lovely meal, when suddenly, his doorway gets broken down. There's a burst of sunlight from outside. Who's there? No, yes! Garo, the hero of the people, rushes over to Strahd, smacks his plate off the table, which upsets him, and Garo knocks him to the ground and starts punching him in the face. Strahd starts whining. Please, get off of me. I'm so sorry I did all of those mean things to you. Garo says, Strahd von Zarovich, more like Strahd von Little Bitch. Garo stands on top of him. Yeah, that's right. That's what you get. He says, flexing his meaty muscles. And then Garo wakes up. In the story so far, the group fought Strahd von Zarovich in the Abbey of St. Markovia, and won! For a short while, until we realized that was just a simulacrum, a magical duplicate. When the real Strahd shows up, he just straight up murders Esmerelda in front of us and carries her away. We know that the next time we encounter Esmerelda, she's going to be a vampire and we're going to have to kill her, so that's a problem we're going to have to deal with another time. We flee from Krusk and meet up with Ismark and Ireena afterwards. Everyone in the group is heartbroken about what happened to our friend. We spent the night in Kazan's tower. The next morning, after a long rest, we talk about Vasily, who we discovered to be Strahd in disguise. We went back over all the times we talked to him and realized that a lot of the things we discussed were lies or setups. Krusk thought back with his arms folded.
You know, earlier we rescued Vasily from the wolves. Those wolves were under his control.
Boshack said,
So he wasn't in any danger. It was all a show.
Garo thought, he showed us around town, even going into the church of St. Andrel. I thought the grounds were supposed to be sacred. Boshack remembered,
The bones had been removed before then, so he could walk in fine.
Gouda thought out loud,
Wait a second, after Fiona took over Vallaki, Rahadin paid Vasily, who is in charge now of the treasury. Wasn't that just Strahd paying himself?
That little piece of fucking shit! Boshack said,
I just wanted to point out that I was the one who found out that Vasily was Strahd.
Okay, you already did. Several times.
I was the one who managed to figure it out, and you guys would be dead because of me.
You could say it was kind of a, group effort there.
It was not a group effort. I did it. It was all me. I'm simply more clever than all of you.
But as we talked amongst themselves, there was something else that was bothering me. Why didn't Strahd take Ireena earlier? He knew where she was the whole time. We now know that since day one, he knew Ireena was part of the party. He even saw her several times and said hello when we were at the Blue Water Inn. And even in the fight, he might have been able to hunt her down. Was it because we were his target this whole time? Or maybe he's after something else in mind. I remember that he's gone through the same scenario over and over again from multiple reincarnations of Ireena, losing and losing and losing. Maybe he thinks he's not going to do the direct route. It's like we've been playing this game against him this whole time and thinking he was just dead set on trying to capture Ireena, but then he makes that move. And now, I don't know. Although, maybe I was just overthinking things. I shelved those thoughts for now. Krusk had been mulling over something before finally coming to a decision.
You know, originally I rejected getting more powerful, but chances are people will die if I can't get strong enough.
Are you gonna pray for powers?
Krusk nodded.
Yes, I'm starting to realize that I need more power. If I'm going to be able to defeat Strahd and his minions, I cannot do it alone.
So Krusk prays, asking the universe for powers. Answering his call, the orc spirit Bogtrue grants him additional powers like Orcish Fury. This gift changes him, and his orc features become more pronounced. Yeah, now everyone's powered up. After that, I went to talk to Boshack and ask him a question that had been bothering me. I appreciate your help, Boshack, but why have you been traveling with us? I mean, you're chaotic evil and we're good, kind of. I think we're good. We did kill a lot of people in the rebellion, so I don't know. Maybe we're the same alignment. Boshack responded,
I follow power.
But what's your MO? Like, what are you after?
My journey is a quest of vengeance. A green dragon destroyed my village and ate my arm. I must hunt the dragon down and slay it. But for that, I need power. I understand how tribes work. If I kill for you, You'll kill for me. If I'm going to defeat that dragon, I need to kill Strahd and escape.
Wouldn't it just be easier to work with Strahd? He's evil, you're evil.
Working with this group is straightforward. Good characters, I get. Why would I work with an evil villain? He's just going to betray me at the first chance he gets. Besides, it's more of an ego thing. He thinks he's better than everyone else and has remained in power for centuries. Strahd's terrible. He's like Boshack, but if Boshack had more power, ugh! I want to knock him down a few pegs. Boshack always holds on to his grudges. Also, didn't think Boshack would live this far.
What do you mean?
Before the campaign started, I was like, I've never played an evil guy. Okay, I'll play a chaotic evil character for a session or two, then he'll die, and then I'll switch to a new guy. But he didn't. So it got kind of awkward at a certain point, and I decided he'd stick around. Really didn't originally want to play an evil character. Don't normally play evil characters for a full campaign. I didn't expect him to live this far.
Well, that's what you get for not being reckless. You could learn a thing or two from me. I look over to our gnome sorcerer. And what about you, Gouda? What's your backstory?
I'm from a family of gnomes that run a family restaurant. Gnome place like home. I'm just going to explore the flavors around the world and eventually get back to my family. Oh, I miss everyone so much. Mama Gouda luck, Daddy Gouda grief, little baby Gouda on you, the twins, Gouda Morgan and Gouda Night, and Auntie so far so Gouda.
I don't feel so bad anymore that you can't see them. As for Garo, in his backstory, he used to work as a cleric at a temple for Torm, learning the ways and studying their beliefs. Eventually, when he became older, he realized, sad to say, but this whole cleric business just isn't for me. I have really high dexterity, so my skills are much better suited for the rogue life, like robbing people, burglary, and hey, I could even be a pirate. So he journeyed out, going into the mountains, and found his calling as a monk. Karate chopping people in the face, get some. But after his time there, eventually it came time to leave, speaking with the elders. I actually don't think this place is for me. Really, I want to study being a cleric again. 'Cause, man, second level clerics, whoa, they get this thing where they can shoot this AoE radiant energy blast. It just like blows people's faces off. And then they can do it like once per short rest. It's really cool. So he journeyed back down the valley and returned to his old cleric temple. But after some time, he found the arts lacking. I think it's time for me to move on. I really want to go back to being a monk because they have that bonus move speed. It's really cool. And also, I want to start using ki. So I think I'm going to go back to being a monk. So he journeyed again back up to the monastery again to train as a monk. Eventually, he had been up on the mountain for years, but the temple had a problem. The monastery was dying. The place was secluded and away from the world, keeping to itself. But over time, the elders started dying off, with no one there to replace them. So Garo thought, it just doesn't make any sense to be out here up in this mountain for the rest of our lives. I'm going to go out into the world and see if I can make disciples, spread the teachings out. His plan got sidetracked when he came to Barovia. Now his mission priorities are 1. Save the people of Barovia from Strahd, and 2. Uphold his promise to Harkotha, the Thanes that had restored his life, and reclaim Barovia to being the wild wilderness from the past. Garo told them, I think once this is all done, I have a spell called Plant Growth, which takes 8 hours to cast and causes plants to grow in a mild radius. I think I'm going to walk all up and down Barovia, casting that spell to restore the plant life. It'd be pretty tragic if I were to die right now, cause that'd be pretty sad, right? But we're the main characters. We can't die. I then looked to Krusk. What about you? What's your backstory?
I am here to slay evil.
Yeah, that sounds on brand. After that backstory time, we discussed what to do now. Where were we going to go now? The way I see it, we got 2 problems on the table. 1, we need to find the Mad Mage in Svalich Woods. In the story, he fought Strahd a year ago and fell off the bridge into the river and was never seen again. If we find him, we might be able to get some clues on who Strahd is and how to defeat him. He seems like a potential ally. Then 2, the Baroness got kidnapped and dragged off into the woods. We thought about it and decided, we gotta go after those wolves. If we don't do anything, they could get killed. While the Mad Mage hasn't been seen in months, so he's probably safe wherever he is. The other day, there was also a fight between Kirill and Emil, two alphas. Kirill worked for Strahd and had taken over the wolf pack. Emil was the old alpha that had gotten captured and we had busted out of prison. We'd promised him to help him kill Kirill. Then they went running off into the forest during the fight, and now we have no idea where they are. Although earlier we had found a caravan with a group of murdered people that had been killed by werewolves. Many of them had gotten dragged away. At the time we couldn't do anything, but now we can, without knowing where Emil or Kirill were. This was our only other breadcrumb right now. The group follows the trail of captured civilians to a wolf den. The mouth of the cave is in the shape of an open wolf's mouth. We send in Boshack's invisible familiar to scout it out. In the cave were the werewolves we expected, and wolf pets. Farther in the prison area were children trapped in cages, and an imprisoned woman we recognized as the Baroness. It looked like they killed all the adults and captured the younger ones, except for the Baroness of Krusk, who was older. She might be for negotiating, or as a diplomatic tool. Alright, you guys want to try and talk it out and go diplomatic route? Or murder? Gouda said,
No, violence doesn't solve anything.
Boshack's like,
It does in Barovia.
Krusk said,
They're kidnapping kids? I don't see any good reason why they would do that, and not be evil bastards.
Garo thought, we've already seen the hags capturing kids. What are the odds that we're going to go in there and fight, and it's going to be like, we're keeping these kids safe in these nice, comfortable warming cages. Or maybe they're going to turn them or even eat them. Boshack said,
Caged kids are basically like boxed lunches.
I sighed, I don't want any more dead kids. The troop ran up to the mouth of the cave and started attacking, taking out several of the guards. The werewolves yell, Intruders! We're being attacked!
Get the kids out of here!
They shout, grabbing the children and moving them.
Save the children!
Garo was a little confused. Wait, what? An elderly werewolf runs up to us and starts fighting by himself. Get back, you fiends! Swinging his cane. Save the youngins! I'll hold them off! He's acting very self-sacrificially, kind of like a good aligned character would. Are we the bad guys here? Cowering in the corner is several werewolf pups. We eventually talk to a woman, Zuleika, who informs us,
Yes, Kirill has been forcing us to capture children and turning them to grow the pack, but we don't want to.
Great. We start winning the first fight in a while, and they turn out to be the good guys. Zuleika informs us,
Kirill's taken over the pack since my husband, Emil, died months ago.
Gouda piped up,
Oh, we saw Emil yesterday. He's fine.
Zuleika becomes angry, snarling,
Then Kirill lied about it. He said that they fought honorably and that Kirill won, fair and square. But I knew it couldn't be true.
Gouda turned to the group and whispered,
Okay, everyone. Big smiles come out now. We got new friends to make.
Boshack snarls, his lips curling up into a sinister grin. We eventually convince them to come over to our side. They realize that they can't follow Kirill's orders anymore. We wait out here at the cave, and it's not long before Kirill returns. The pack was split. Some were loyal to Emil, while others were loyal to Kirill. Once Kirill and his group start losing, they turn tail and flee, running off into the woods. Boshack looks over to me, noticing that Garo was bitten.
Are you cursed?
I say, I don't think so. I feel fine. Gouda says,
If I throw a stick, does Garo chase it?
Gouda, that's not how... As she says that, I'm mesmerized as the stick goes sailing off. I chase after it, on all fours, trying to tug it away from the other wolves. No, give it to me. That's mine. That's my stick. Boshack cast Remove Curse on me. I'm fine now.
Zuleika said, Thank you for helping us, but he'll return later. If he's working for Strahd, he might have more powerful allies soon. But we don't have anywhere to go. This is our home.
All right, I say, you guys can come with us. We'll keep you safe. For now. But it's going to be dangerous. This is just until we can find a new hideout for you guys. After busting her out of prison, we also spoke to the Baroness. The Baroness said,
Oh, thank you so much for saving me. I thought I was a goner in the hands of these mongrels.
She looks over to Zuleika.
What did you call us?
Zuleika growled at her. Now. Everyone's friends here. Also, since I got a chance to talk to her, I bring up, by the way, you're the Baroness of Krusk. We have to talk to you about the Abbey. What do you know about it?
Oh, the Abbey, she said. Oh, it tends to be pretty quiet up there. I've spoken to the Abbot on occasion. He's a very lovely man.
Oh, so you don't know about the, experiments? The Baroness was genuinely surprised.
What in heaven's name are you talking about?
We tell her about the Abbey of St. Markovia and the experiments the Abbot is doing and the mongrel folk up there.
Oh, that's terrible, she said. My husband and I had no idea. If only we'd known. Don't worry. When I get back to Krusk, I'll speak with my husband about it and we'll do something about that.
As we take a short rest for an hour, Gouda is like,
I'm going to take an hour to regale her about our adventures in Barovia, skipping out all the bad stuff and any fights we lost.
The DM asked, okay, sure, but what are you going to do with the other 59 minutes, though? You know, DM, this is partially your fault as well. After we fought Kirill, we left for Krusk and returned the children and the Baroness. Now we had a pack of werewolves following us. They needed a new home. Since they were coming with us, we were now quite a large traveling group. A pack of werewolves, Ireena, Ismark, and the four of us. Leaving the road from Krusk, we traveled north to Svalich woods. Our next order of business was chasing down the Mad Mage. We knew Van Richten, who had been disguised as Rictavio, was tracking him down as well. As we searched from Kazan's tower, his old hideout, we eventually found the tracks of his cart and followed them farther north, deeper into the forest. The tracks eventually meet up with a carnival wagon, out next to a set of ruins. The DM asked us, do you guys want to explore his cart? Nope! The last cart we had opened was loaded with explosives. Not touching that shit. We noticed at the ruins there's a strange glow as we pass through the goes into a circular atrium. There's a massive set of double doors across the way, which has 12 key slots. Along the walls are 8 other doors. Gouda opens up one door random and enters. Inside, she hears a voice say,
OTTFFSS. What comes next?
Well, what do you mean, silly? How am I supposed to figure that out? Ow!
She gets stung by psychic damage. It seems like that answer was wrong. It says again,
OTTFFSS. What comes next?
Gouda's little brain starts working.
Well, it seems like it goes alphabetically. So, after S, that's, EE?
The DM gives her a blank stare. A tablet materializes in front of Gouda, one of the puzzle pieces with the letter O on it. It seems like Gouda's answer was right, by accident. I asked, wait, but what's the answer, though?
EE!
Garo is still thinking about it. OTTFFSSEE? We eventually realize that each room contains a puzzle. If we succeed the puzzle, we get a key. Once we have all of them, we could use the keys on the main double doors to unlock it. Krusk opened the door to the next room. He saw a set of 10 platforms floating in the air, going into a pedestal with one of the letter keys on it. Krusk stepped onto one platform, and he suddenly teleported 5 platforms ahead.
What?
He seemed a little weirded out. Then he took a step back and moved 2 platforms back. Then he took a step forward and went forward again. It seemed like it was a step puzzle. Through some guesswork, he eventually found the correct answer and obtained 2 puzzle keys, one with an I and one with an N on it. Boshack tackled another puzzle. In this one, he entered, and 2 arms materialized in front of him, one hand clasped into a fist and placed down on the palm of another. Boshack quickly realized what it was and made the same gesture with his hands.
Rock.
He hit his hand. The image did the same thing.
Paper. Scissors.
Boshack picked rock and it picked scissors. He won and got 2 puzzle pieces. As he came out, we asked,
Boshack, what happened?
A battle of wits.
Then Gouda went to another door. She tried to open it. It was locked. She knocked. A voice said,
Who's there?
Gouda.
Gouda who?
Gouda time.
You get a key cube.
Don't reward that.
Gouda tries out the other room, but gets caught in a trap where she has to dance.
You guys have to help me.
I'm still walking around thinking, OTTFFSSEE. What does that mean?
You're still on that?
I still can't figure out why the answer is EE. It's not a grid. I tried converting them to numbers, and it doesn't work. It could be the pointing bits, but that doesn't seem like it matters. There was a room with a set of potions in them. Krusk was tasked with figuring out which one was the antidote, while the rest were poison.
I suppose I could just drink all the bottles at random,
Krusk said, starting to down them like an alcoholic. But after he took a drink, they would automatically refill and shuffle around.
Garo, you want to help us out?
I'm muttering to myself, if O and T then make F, and then T and F makes F, and F somehow makes another S? Gouda's like,
We solved that puzzle. Deal with another one.
Fine, I say, grumbling. I walked into another room. In this puzzle, there are 6 gems on an anvil. The gems are colored yellow, green, blue, red, purple, and orange. On the hammer, there's an inscription that reads, Break the orange crystal. Okay, I say, shrugging. Picking up the hammer, I grab the orange one and raise the hammer, ready to smash it. But then, I stop myself. Wait. I read the inscription again. Break the orange crystal. This is the orange crystal. Is it actually orange, or does it just look orange? It looks orange, but is it actually orange? How would I be able to tell if it's different? Like, orange is what something looks like. Like, am I supposed to combine them or something? Is this some kind of light puzzle? I always suck at these things. I place several crystals on top of each other. Screw it. I smash the orange crystal with a hammer. There's a flash of light as it's broken, and a keystone appears before me. I leave the room, grumbling to myself. Stupid puzzle room.
Hey Garo, what happened?
I chuck the stone at him. We completed some more puzzles. One involved a snowball fight with tentacles. Krusk eventually found the antidote after taking a lot of damage, randomly guessing them. After dealing with all the rooms, the keystones we had each had a letter on them. ANIROMEDEKINN. We look over the stones. Anime, Amord, Mordred. There's no space here, so this all has to be one word. What word do we know that has 12 letters? Boshack realizes
Morten Kanan.
As he says that name, they are placed into the lock and open up the inner sanctum, spelling out Morten Kanan. Morten Kanan is a very famous wizard in the multiverse. He's known for being an explorer, traveling between the planes of existence and inventing many of the spells. We also realize that all the other rooms are from other wizards from the Circle of Eight. Otto, Rary, Bigby, Tensor, Drawminge, Leomund, Snilloc, and Morten Kanan. The Circle of Eight was a group of 8 wizards who had risen to wealth and power, and their names were immortalized in magic and the spells they had created, such as Bigby's hand, Tensor's floating disc, or Leomund's tiny hut. The knock-knock joke was Leomund. The crystals were Drawminge, with his summons, the hand was Bigby, and the snowball fight was Snilloc. The puzzle double doors just stand there by themselves, with nothing on either side to connect to anything. But when you open them, they lead into an entire room, which is a small pocket dimension. Inside, we can feel the warmth from this very luxurious, well-decorated room, with plush carpet, cushy armchairs, and windows thrown open, inviting in a fake breeze and looking out into an illusory, idyllic countryside. This place is Morten Kanan's magnificent mansion. We enter to see a man on the ground clutching his head, and an elderly gentleman watching over him carefully like a doctor, leaning forward with his head on his cane.
Pleasure. Finally getting a chance to meet you,
the elderly man said.
We haven't formally introduced ourselves, but I'm Van Richten.
And him. He gestures to the man on the ground.
He's Morten Kanan.
The Morten Kanan? The crazy man is clutching his head, writhing back and forth. His eyes are bloodshot. The man is muttering to himself,
He's looking for me. Looking for me. The eyes are everywhere. Even the trees, the birds, everything.
The one and only, Van Richten said.
I was just as surprised as you to see he's here.
We ask, what's he doing here? Van Richten replied,
I'd love to ask him that myself, but he's out of commission for now. Something about his fight with Strahd a year ago did something to his mind. Broke it. I can fix it with greater restoration. Unfortunately, Morten Kanan cast Mind Blank. It's a spell which makes him impervious to mental magic. He seems to be really, really paranoid and doesn't want anyone rooting around in his head. I have to wait for that to wear off in the next hour, and then hopefully I can get him back to normal.
I finally get a chance to talk to Van Richten, without the fake persona. Also, by the way, thanks for helping us with Ireena.
No problem, he said. She's just an innocent who was caught up in all this. It's best that we try to keep her as far out of his clutches as we can.
As we're talking, I get around to a topic I knew we had to get to eventually. Sorry to be the one to tell you about this, but, Esmerelda, your daughter, when we were fighting back at the Abbey of St. Markovia, she was killed and bitten by Strahd. Van Richten said. He took a moment to process it. Can't say I didn't expect it. I thought she might have been safe from my curse. Apparently, I was mistaken. She died fighting Strahd. A lot of people are alive because of her.
Don't worry, Gouda piped in. We'll save her.
Yes, Van Richten smiled at Gouda. We can still save her soul.
Gouda gave him a thumbs up and big smiles.
Yep, we'll save her. We're on a rescue mission.
Her soul is still out there, and still worth saving. I have a responsibility to her.
I let him know. Strahd's gonna pay for this. He's gonna pay for a lot of things. We chat for a bit and wait. After the time passes, Van Richten uses Greater Restoration to restore the wizard's mind. We take a step back, giving him some breathing room, and Van Richten finally clears this wizard's head. At first he starts panicking, wondering what's going on. Then his confusion turns to clarity. I'm back, the wizard said. He stood up. Pleasure to be making acquaintance with you. He snapped his fingers and winked. Name's Morten Kanan, fastest spell slinger around. Sparks come out from between his fingers. When he stood up, we could finally get a good look at his clothes he was wearing. The man had a strange accent, and his clothes were odd. Definitely not something we had seen in the Forgotten Realms. Where are you from? We asked. Oh, somewhere I reckon you folks wouldn't know. Morten Kanan said, let's just say I ain't from around these parts. I've been traveling all aroundabouts, so I guess you could say I'm a citizen of the worlds. He got up over to an alcohol cabinet, poured himself a shot of whiskey. I got one of the worst headaches. Been out of sorts for months, that'll do it to you, I tell you. He downed the glass. Slams the shot down. Morten Kanan picked up his circular cowboy hat off of the rack and put it on his head, cinching up his boots and holstering a wand. Van Richten goes up to him.
Pleasure to meet you. I'm Van Richten.
Morten Kanan squints at him. Van Richten! Oh, I recognize you. I've had a lot of stories from your adventures. The two legends shake each other's hands. Morten Kanan tips his hat to him. Gouda came over to him with her spellbook out, with big tears in her eyes.
Mr. Morten Kanan, I'm such a huge fan. Would you please sign my spellbook?
Morten Kanan grins. Of course, little lady. Morten Kanan pulls a ploofy quill out from thin air. Always happy to sign things for a fan. He quickly opens the book and jots down a large, curly, flowery signature. He looked over the book. This book's pretty old. The boss of spells are a few rituals. Are you a magic school dropout? She blushes as she snatches the book out of his hands and runs away. Morten Kanan twirls his wrist, and the quill vanishes.
What happened? Van Richten asked. What brings you here?
Well, I came to Barovia to confront Strahd, he said. He was wrestling up some trouble across the multiverse. You know about the Mists of Barovia, right? He can forcibly pull people on this plane. Word was getting round about him as well. I knew it was only a matter of time, so I decided to come here and figure out what's going on. Once I discovered what the problem is, I rallied up the people and we stormed the castle. I knew he was a powerful spellcaster, but my magic was stronger. I could take a vampire any day of the week. We had a showdown that night, fighting all across that castle, throwing out spell after spell between us. But nothing I did worked on that guy. Van Richten raised his eyebrows.
What do you mean?
I was throwing out every one of my most powerful spells, and they were just glancing off of him. I would summon a blade, and it would just pass through the guy like he didn't even feel it. Even radiant attacks. Normally a vampire's weak to those. It did nothing. Nothing I could do worked on this guy. Morten Kanan looked directly to Van Richten. There's something going sideways about him. He ain't a normal vampire. He thought to himself, remembering back to the fight he had a year ago. He said under his breath, it's gotta be that heart. What heart? His own heart? No, in the castle. I found a beaten heart. It looked like it was giving him power. A regular heart he had? Morten Kanan shook his head. Nah, a massive one. It took like an entire room. It was almost like the castle Ravenloft's own heart. But also something else. Strahd, he's connected to this land. He has control over the land and it's given him power. Boshack said,
Well, earlier we had heard about the Amber Temple. There was apparently some powerful magic passed down from ancient times. Casimir, who lived here for hundreds of years, had asked us to go there.
I'm telling you, that's gotta be it. There's something strange going on at this Amber Temple they've been talking about.
Got it. If we go to the Amber Temple, we can sort this out. Exactly, Morten Kanan said, tipping his hat. But anyways, he leans back in his chair, getting comfortable with a drink. I've been keeping a lowdown here after my fight with Strahd. Unfortunately, I lost my magic staff a while back, so I'm in no shape to go toe-to-toe with this guy. You guys can make yourselves comfortable here. My home is your home. He gestures out to the place. This is an unscribable manor. Ever heard of Morten Kanan's magnificent manor? It's pretty magnificent if I do say so myself. Doesn't sound like Strahd knows where this place is yet, so y'all can rest here safe. Also, by the way, another important question, I said. OTTFF.
You're still on this?
Yes, I'm still on it. I haven't gotten off of it. Van Richten goes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Eh? I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He said, oh. The other players realize what the answer is. Garo is shaking his head. Still don't get it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What comes next? You take the first letter of each one. 1 is 0, T is 2, etc. Oh, I said. Wait, but the answer is EE. 9 is N. Morten Kanan said, the answer is E. She said EE, which the question only cared about the first answer. The second answer doesn't matter. Anyway, as we're talking, we bring up Ismark and Ireena and the journey we've been on. Morten Kanan sighs. Oh yeah, such a shame what happened to that poor girl. She's been through hell and back, that one. I reckon she's waiting for the light at the end of that tunnel. Hopefully it's not going to be a train. Wherever she is, I hope she's safe. I bring up, yeah, we actually brought Ismark and Ireena with us. You want to talk to them? Morten Kanan's face went white as a sheet. His laid-back demeanor suddenly changed, becoming serious. Wait, they're not nearby, are they? I point out, actually, they're right outside. Morten Kanan suddenly had this look of shock and horror. Let me clarify, did you bring the 2 people that Strahd's been tracking to wait outside our secret hideout? I say nothing as I realize what he's saying. Morten Kanan gets up quickly. We have to get them inside my unscribable manor, and quick, or else Strahd will find out where we are. Boshack uses his familiar to go outside to check on them. But the DM informs him, you're not going to like what you see. Outside of the ruins, who do we see but Strahd von Zarovich and Rahadin with a flood of servants scouring the area. All of your werewolf companions are kneeling down before them. Gouda said,
Don't worry, it's going to be fine. He's probably not mad at the werewolves.
The DM informs us that they're lined up, just like a firing squad. And I suddenly have flashbacks to the church. Morten Kanan was suddenly furious. You brought them right here to my hideout? This is why I went into hiding a year ago, so this kind of thing didn't happen. I don't have my magic staff yet. I can't fight this guy. As he says that, I realize that it wasn't just Ireena Strahd had been tracking. He was also after the famed Van Richten and the wizard who had escaped his grasp on that cold night many moons ago. Inside of our room, the vase vanishes. Then the curtain starts changing color and fading away. The furniture in the room starts popping out of existence. What's going on? The sanctum's being dispelled, Morten Kanan said, drawing his wand. We're being forcibly pulled out of this demiplane. Be ready for anything. As we appear out of hiding, all of us popping back into the ruins, that was where that session ended.